So here's a next gentleman. This one's going to be a difficult one for me to say. People have heard my story about Brenden. So Brenden was 18 years old. He was a valedictorian in school, very bright individual. He actually got into medical school right out of high school. And Brenden, in his first quarter of college, was getting ready, in November of 4 years ago, was going to go visit his dad and go hunting. So he's driving down the road and he ended up rolling his vehicle. He missed a deer and he rolled the vehicle. So at 18 years old, he rolled his vehicle. He hung upside down in this vehicle for 2.5 hours because no one knew where he was. And the reason I can tell this story is because I was actually his physical therapist. I actually am the person who actually worked with this individual. He was in a coma for 49 days. That means he didn't wake up. He was in the hospital for 196 days straight. The doctors tried to talk the parents into pulling the plug. They said, he's not going to make it. And the parents said no. And I heard the story and I was following him in the hospital, and I was hoping that they weren't going to go with what the doctor said, and that is pull the plug. And because I knew him before, it was even more closer to my heart before the accident. And the doctor said, after many doctors trying to talk to parents into pulling the plug, the parents said, no, we're going to take him home. So they took Brenden home and put him out in his front room in a hospital bed. And when he got home, he could barely sit up. He could barely do anything. And I waited a couple days after he got home. And when he got home, I talked to the parents and said, hey, I got something that might help. His dad is an engineer, atomic physicist, so he understood the science. And we took him to a presentation. And the dad, before the presentation was over, he said, I want that product. I want it now. And Brenden, you have to imagine, Brenden was in a wheelchair. They got him to this presentation, and he sat in this wheelchair. Probably one of the second time he was up in a wheelchair, and he was barely sitting up in the chair, and he couldn't even hold. His dad was actually behind him, holding him up. That's how bad he was at that time. But Brenden kept pointing at the presentation, and he couldn't talk. And his dad says, I want it, and I want it now. I couldn't get it to him. Long story short is that we got him on the product. He's been on the product for the last 4 years at 4 ounces 3 times a day. I am ecstatic to tell you that Brenden has fought back every step. And the reason I know this is because, like I said, I was his therapist. I watched him sit up for the first time. I watched him stand up for the first time. I watched him take his first steps. He walked with a walker and then a cane, and he fought for years after everybody told me he wasn't going to make it. And this day, he's back. He's now actually in our facility, fully back. He's back into college, taking a full ride, or full scholarship, not full scholarship, but a full load. He is he comes to my gym and works out 3 days a week. He's actually became a trainer at my facility just a month ago. He went through the course, and he now is a trainer in my facility and trains other head injuries and other people who've had health issues in my gym. My daughter's in nursing school, and he's taken the same courses with my daughter. And so it's a miracle. I mean, how full circle it came. Well, about 18 months ago, he was in my facility and he was walking out. This doctor as Brenden was walking out, this doctor walked in, And he stopped in the foyer and he looked at Brenden walking out the door. And he's like, he saw a ghost, and he said, "Is that who I think it is?" And I said, "I don't know. Who do you think it is?" And he says, "Is that Brenden?" And I said, "Yeah." This is the same doctor on this photo that said, "Pull the plug." The two doctors that said he wasn't going to make it now work out with Brenden in my same gym as Brenden. And the doctor agreed to take a picture with him. The other doctor said, "I'm not going to take a picture with him because it wasn't me. It was redox molecules and him exercising and his drive to be better that made him better." And that's true. This is a very powerful story. What did it do with Brenden? Here's a before and after picture. It brings back memories because this picture of him, I can remember trying to make him sit up and he'd be falling over and work with him day after day in therapy. And now he's actually works at my facility. He got his first paycheck a week ago as a trainer in my facility. What did it do with Brenden? We know that the redox single molecules are only 4 atoms wide. It was able to penetrate the cell membrane or the cell brain membrane in order to wake him up. And the signaling was a huge process in him waking up. Remember, he was in a hospital for 196 days. The only thing that changed when he got home is he got on the redox single molecules. It woke him up. He started thinking, he started communicating, he started being able to do the things he wanted to do or get better. And he can tell me now that the thing that irritated him the worst when he was rehabbing is that he wanted people to know how much he wanted to get better, and that this product allowed him to do that. The second thing it did was that he had a lot of tissue damage, and so the osmosis, which is cell suicide, had to be able to replace or be able to take cells, areas of his body that were damaged, and had to be able to clear out the area so that we could put new cells in that area. And what you're seeing here is that its cells there have to be a space that's being created for new cells to be able to go in. Once that space has been created, then the new cells that have been replaced and repaired can go in that area. You can go get him. And so,
yeah, just waking up in the morning and to be well. Quite honest with you, I ain't really sleep well. You ever feel like your train of thought's been derailed? That's when you press on, lean in. There goes the fire. There goes the fire. Here comes the fire. That's what you say to me, say to me, say to me. This one's a fighter. And if I could last 30 rounds, there's no reason you should ever have your head down.
So redox single molecules saved his life, and I have a special surprise for you, Dr. Gary Samuelson, and everybody out there in the field. Brenden, come on in.
Hi there. So, Dr. Samuelson, I wanted to personally thank you for discovering and stabilizing these wonderfully amazing molecules that quite literally saved my life and changed it from a downward spiral. I was going nowhere to getting to where I am now, as it has literally changed my life for the matter. Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, Brenden.
Thank you.
I think that you're the one who changed your life. And I realize that there are greater powers on earth. And so grateful that to see your progress. It's an inspiration to me. It will always be an inspiration to me, and we will go forward with full hope that we can do this in the lives of thousands of other people that need it. And thank you so much. Thank you so very much.
God, God willing, it will happen. Christ put a son in my life to put ASEA in my life and change it.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're there. It's wonderful too that you're right in the saddle again, and you're helping the people also that are around you. I think that is wonderful, and I just want to applaud you also for doing that. It's just incredible. I'm so proud to work with you and to have been able to do something for you. Thank you.
No, thank you. I'll turn this back over to Sean now. So thank you all.
Thanks, Brenden. So I know that was a surprise, but one more thing I want to say. I know we're running a little bit long, but I think it's important. Uh, when I asked Brenden to come on to this and surprise you, his comment to me that he wanted to make sure you understood is that he wants to be able for you, Dr. Gary Samuelson, and everybody else there, as far as encouragement, take what he just said and put it in your heart. And when you're having a bad day, remember Brenden, because that's what he wants people to know. He wants to be inspired, and he's wants you to know, Dr. Gary Samuelson, that if you're having a bad day, take what he just said to heart and pull it out and continue to drive forward, because he doesn't want you to give up on what your research and what you're doing for us. Okay. Let's try to move on, folks.